At least 5 people, including a child, have died while trying to cross the English Channel from France to the UK. The small boat they were on had been carrying more than 100 would-be refugees and migrants. A British Border Force volunteer boat carried several people to shore, while French authorities say they rescued at least 47 others. Well, the disaster happened hours after the UK Parliament passed the so-called Rwanda Bill. That's the government's controversial plan to process migrants and refugees offshore. Harry Fawcett has more from London.
It's a pretty terrible incident. It took place just very close to the French shoreline very soon after this boat, packed full of people. It's unusually densely packed small boat. French authorities say 112 people on board, and that during these initial moments there was some kind of a crush on board, and 5 people died as a result, among them a young girl. Really terrible reports of her father having watched her die and be in tears on the beach shortly afterwards. French authorities saying that 47 were rescued from the boat and also some from the sea around it, but that some 50 wanted to continue their journey on to the UK under naval escort, it's been reported. And that gives you a sense of the sort of motivation, if not desperation, there is to make these journeys in the face of such danger. And this was on a calm day when there were a number of such launches from the French coastline. The Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, has been asked about this in relation to the passage of the bill overnight, and he said that there were reports of these more tragic deaths in the Channel this morning. I think it's a reminder of why our plan is so important, because there's a certain element of compassion about everything that we're doing, in which he means trying to stop these journeys and destroy the business model, as his government puts it, of the people smugglers. However, there's been the opposite view from the Refugee Council, a charity here in the UK, which says that rather than pursue headline-grabbing hostile policies such as the Rwanda plan, the UK government should instead be seeking to ensure that there are safe and legal routes and better systems for dealing with asylum applications than are currently in place.
Aissatou Ndiaye is the representative of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees in Rwanda. She's joining us now from Kigali. Thank you very much indeed for being with us. What's your reaction to this bill that the UK government has finally, after many months, been able to pass?
Yes, thank you for having me. UNHCR has really consistently conveyed our deep concern about the externalization of asylum obligations and the serious risks it poses for refugees. And UNHCR finds that the UK-Rwanda scheme to be inconsistent with the global solidarity and responsibility sharing and in breach of the 1951 Refugee Convention. UNHCR remains concerned that the introduction of the legislation and the accompanying treaty may not in practice overcome the refoulement risks in the absence of a wider changes in structures, procedures, attitudes, and understanding in Rwanda. I think rather the legislation will restrict the UK courts from properly scrutinizing removal decisions, leaving the asylum seekers with a very narrow avenue of appeal, even if they face significant risks, including by expressly authorizing the UK government to disregard any interim remedies from the European Court of Human Rights. I think it requires decision makers and judges to conclusively treat Rwanda as a safe country in terms of protecting asylum seekers from being returned to a place of danger, regardless of any evidence to the contrary, now or in the future. I think UNHCR continues to call for practical and workable alternatives to the Rwanda schemes in the spirit and within the framework of responsibility sharing, which lies at the core of the Refugee Convention.
You're in Kigali, which is, of course, the capital of Rwanda. What's your understanding of the kind of conditions that people are going to face should they be transferred there?
Well, it's difficult to say, and I think that this is something that we need to assess. What I know right now is that Rwanda is hosting 135,000 refugees. That's a lot of people, and most of them are living in camps. for many years, the majority of whom are refugees from neighboring countries who were granted protection in a prima facie basis. We understand that also the Rwandan government has made available accommodations in Kigali for a limited number of people that can be transferred initially. But we cannot say more than that because UNHCR has not been really taking party to these arrangements that have been put in place.
I do understand that, as you say, you've not been party to it, but I'm interested to know, given the fact that you are there, if you have an understanding also of the kind of freedoms that people might be allowed when they do, if and when they do get to Rwanda, in terms of the ability, for example, to find work or the ability to be covered by healthcare, for example?
Well, I think that Rwanda is a country that is hospitable. They are doing a lot. They have legal frameworks for currently the refugees that have been here. As I said, for the past 20 years, they're having a policy of inclusiveness. But Rwanda also is facing its own challenges, economic challenges, like every country in the region and globally. So I don't know exactly what kind of specific opportunities that will be open for them to find jobs, employment, or even to have access to welfare. That is something that we need to wait and see. Right now, it's not very clear what has been put there as measures for them to access all those measures, all those means for a better situation than where they come from.
Aissatou Ndiaye, we appreciate you being with us on Al Jazeera, ma'am. Thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.